Now this one is a little more opinionated.
Oh no.
And feel free if you don't want to answer, it's fine.
Yeah.
But since you've been here,
Yeah.
what has been your favorite play or musical
Oh.
that you've directed?
That's so funny. I get asked that all the time. I mean, the kids, of course, that were just in a show always ask me that.
Yeah.
Like, is this your favorite? So I actually do have a couple of favorites. And the reason I have favorites is really because of the process that was involved in it.
Yes.
We did a show, and I wish I could remember the year off the top of my head. I should. Mr. Arjona will tell you I'm terrible at numbers, remembering them. That's why he's the economist. I think The Yellow Boat by David was my most favorite straight play that we did in our non-musical. It was a true story about a boy who was a hemophiliac in the 80s, and he contracted HIV/AIDS, and then unfortunately succumbed to that complications from that when he was like 8 years old. Mm-hmm. And his dad runs the Child's Play Theater in Arizona, where he's retired now, David Sarr. And he wrote this beautiful play about his son's story. And Benjamin was the name of his son, and Benjamin used to draw. And so I had seen the play many a time when I was in graduate school, and I thought, this would be an interesting story to bring to our school. And so David Sarr came to school. He met with us. He watched the show. He gave me notes. He talked to the kids. He did phone interviews with them. We took the play to the Georgia Theater Conference, and we won some accolades there. We took it to the GHSA One Act and won accolades there as well, too. And the group of kids that were in that show were like kids that had never done a show before. It was like their first time, and then kids who had been in theater. And it was the most fun ever. It was the most fun. I really, really enjoyed that show. I mean, I have other favorites too, but I mean, that one for me like sticks out.
Okay.
Just because I think the emotional journey that was attached to it. My favorite musical, I mean, honestly, last year's Disaster is very, very close to my other favorite one, which is The Drowsy Chaperone. And I think it's for the same reasons. I mean, it was just a really good group of kids that really liked working together.
Yeah.
I mean, at least they seemed to like working together, right? I don't know if that was true, but they, yeah. I mean, they seemed all to be so happy to come to practice, and the show is really funny, and nobody knew those shows. Nobody knew Drowsy Chaperone at the time. It had just been released for performances, and also Disaster was the same way. And so I think a lot of our audiences came in not knowing what it was, and were really pleasantly surprised by how funny all of it was.
Yeah.
And those two shows for sure. Drowsy Chaperone, though, ekes it out just a little bit.
And Disaster won a Schuler.
It did. It won a Schuler. It won a Schuler Award. It was, it's funny. We were in the Schuler Awards the very first year they started, and we were one of 12 schools. Because when it started, nobody really knew about it. And other states do Schuler Award things and have done them for years. There's one in Texas, there's one in Pennsylvania. And then those kids that win Best Actor and Actress go up to New York and compete in the National High School Musical Theater Awards. And so I was like, let's just do this. Let's put Walker's name out there. We do a lot of stuff. And so we won that year as well, too. Mr. Schreiner won for Best Set for our production of Sweeney Todd. We had a ton of nominations and everything. Of course, we were only one of 12 at the time. But ever since then, our name has just kind of been kept in the mix.
Yeah.
And now it's 75 schools this year. And the fact that we were the one that won.
Yeah, super competitive.
Is even more amazing to us. And the fact that we've gotten nominations and we got honorable mentions in other areas too. So, and we did with Drowsy too. Drowsy Chaperone, we got a lot of nominations that year too. We didn't win, but we got a lot of nominations. So.